guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a ship with me. These are all orders that came through over the weekend, for the most part since Friday. I have kind of a lot of things to get out the door today, some really great sales, some really cool funky vintage sales, but what was really notable to me this weekend was that I cleared out a lot of stuff that I've had in my closet for a long time. So I think, really a focus of this video is going to be a lot of the things that I'm not going to be looking for anymore. And sometimes when it comes to sourcing for resale, knowing what not to buy and what not to pick up for whatever reason is just as valuable as knowing what to pick up, because nobody likes wasted money. Or nobody likes things taking up space for too long in their storage. So before we get started, if any of you are new here, first and foremost, welcome aboard. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet. If that sounds like something that you are into, go ahead and hit subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But as I mentioned before, I've got a lot of stuff to get through, and no surprise to anybody who has watched me for any amount of time, I'm running late. So go grab yourself a snack, get a little sustenance, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipments. So the first thing we're gonna ship here is this little Sophia Petrillo Fantasy. I've had this for a little bit of time. I got this at the bins. This was one of those absolutely positively I had to have it kind of things. I love finding straw purses. Fold those. This is like a rigid side straw purse. It is in fabulous condition. I think it's probably from the 70s. It looks to me like it is a piece that was maybe made for export, like it was a tourist piece. But it is pretty well made. It's fully lined. The latch works. There's no cane out of place. So that's kind of a rare find when you're dealing with vintage straw bags. Unless it's something that's really been carefully maintained, finding something that doesn't have any damage is fabulous. I prepped a little box number 7 here for this. And I already have some paper in there for cushioning, so we'll put this guy in. Okay, that should be good. We'll put one more piece in. I will grab these if I find them at the right price all the time, because they are forever in demand. Either for people going on vacation or for people wanting to be Sophia Petrillo for Halloween, which respect. I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a Golden Girls fanatic. I am the person you want with you if you go to Golden Girls trivia. I've watched every episode a million times, and typically while I'm working, I will often have Golden Girls playing in the background. So this one I've had for about 2 months, which is about kind of what I expected. It's starting to warm up now, so this is the time for this to move. I got it at the bins for $1. I had it listed for $49. My sidekick sent an offer, and then I got a counter offer for $39, which I did accept. $1 cost at the bins. This brought my profit to $30.20, and I just love this bag. Rattan bags forever. Next up, I have another non-clothing sale. I grabbed this also at the bins. This is a little cotton woven bucket hat. It's really quite cute. It's got a little scalloped edge. So it's not like a regular bucket hat that you guys are used to seeing that you can go out in stores and see now. This is a little bit more towards the Blossom type bucket hat. If you ever watched Blossom as a kid, let me know down below. Let's talk about it. Those hats with the folded up brim, the big daisy in the middle. I had one and I thought I was the height of fashion. Just want to make sure I keep this with a little bit of structure to it. Guys, I got new tape last week and it is awful. So this one I've had for 6 or 7 months. I grabbed it, I knew it would move. I didn't think it was gonna be that slow of a move, but again, 6, 7 months ago was just the beginning of winter. So it makes sense that people aren't necessarily buying bucket hats, which are, largely used as sun hats, in December. So I had this listed for $25 and I got an offer for $22, which I did accept. $1 cost of the bins. This brought my profit to $17.37. This is just such a cute, unique piece. It's one of those things that nobody else will have that. So next up is this little shirt that I have. This is by a brand called Apana, A-P-A-N-A. This was one that my mom grabbed on her haul, and the quality is, while the quality is really nice, it's this like kind of steel gray, purpley color. It's that kind of like in between. And the fabric's really nice. The fabric actually feels very similar to like the Viore pants, if you know what I'm talking about, the Viore jogger pants. It feels like that super soft brush. You know, my mom picked this up. She's not super familiar with athletic wear, so, you know, she was truly going based on feel. And, you know, I agree. Like, if I didn't know brands or I was comping in store, I probably wouldn't have grabbed this because the sold comps don't go for too much. I did get a lot of action on it, a lot of eyes on it, but for the most part, the sold comps on these were between like $8 and $12. So, you know, she sourced this at $1 a day, so it's still, you know, a decent profit. But if you are out in a store and you are unfamiliar with a lot of athletic wear brands and you're picking up just based on feel, this is a brand for sure to skip. I had this listed for $15 and I had it for about, I want to say 2 or 3 months, but I finally got an offer for $10, which I did accept. The $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to, I think was, I didn't write it down on this one for whatever reason, but I think my profit on this was about $6. And again, you know, that's fine for me where I'm sourcing for $1, but for somebody who is sourcing for that higher dollar amount, chances are that's not going to be enough to like justify the work that it takes to photograph it and store it and ship it and clean it and all of that. Obviously, there are some people that do extremely high volumes of very low prices, and that's great. For me, that's not really the place where I live, and I know that that's not the place where a lot of other resellers live. So just something to be in mind, but I would probably, unless you are sourcing for an extremely low amount, have that kind of business model where you're moving high volumes at low costs, I would probably avoid Apana. Next up here, this was such a cool one, and definitely one that I knew I would sell eventually. This is from a brand called Riki, R-I-K-I. It's vintage from the 90s. This is linen. It's this beautiful like aubergine linen dress with mother of pearl buttons on the front. I actually got this quite a while ago. Again, this is a nice summery piece, so I'm not super surprised it didn't go during the summer or during the winter, but I knew that this was going to be something that moved pretty quickly once it started to heat up. This is one of those dresses that falls into that log and look style. For me, that's just always a really good seller. Log and look, if you are unfamiliar, the literal translation is from German, and log and look means layered look. It makes sense. Oversized linen pieces, you know, real lifetime type pieces that are completely timeless. They exist outside of trends. And this really falls into that category. So I had this for 7 or 8 months. And I had it listed for $45, which is about what I would get for something like this in the log and look world. And I got an offer for $39, which I did accept. I had a this was like a $5.70 cost from one of the local thrift stores around here. And with all of that calculated, that brought my profit to $24.19. So I will still forever pick these kind of things up. Some things go super quick and some things take, you know, 7-8 months to sell, but you know, this is such a reliable style to source for that even though this one took me a long time to sell, I would still recommend picking it up as long as your costs are right. Linen sells, period. So next up, now this is such a cute piece. Look at this shirt. This is completely unbranded. And it's all like, this is like an English net that's embroidered, and then this panel right here is like a lightweight cotton that's all embroidered, and then the back kind of to here is embroidered. I love the little handkerchief hem. This was just such a unique piece. I'm guessing that this was something that was sold in a boutique. It kind of has a similar feel to some of those like long line kimonos that I pick up. This feels a little bit nicer though, like in terms of construction, but I just thought that this was so gorgeous. Again, no brand. This is a perfect example of where you pick up based on style. This has so many things that I can use as a keyword. Boho, beachy, Grecian, festival. It's got embroidery, it's got sheer, it's got lightweight cotton, it's got a little bit of a peplum, it's got a handkerchief hem. So like when I am keywording something, that's really what I'm shopping, I guess I should say. This starts when I'm shopping. I really think about like, okay, so what words can I use to get people to this? Like brand aside, and don't get me wrong, the brand helps in 99% of my pieces. But when I find something like this, I'm like, okay, what words would people use to look for this, right? Like that's the true basis of SEO. Like what words would you as the shopper put into the search bar to find your way to this piece? And when you are writing your description, this is what I want you to be doing. I want you to be thinking in that sense, right? So like, for example, if I were to find a plain white t-shirt in the bins that felt phenomenal quality, but didn't have a brand, I would leave it behind. I don't care if that is an untagged Gucci piece. If it doesn't have that name on a plain white t-shirt, it's not, you're just gonna get lost in this sea of plain white t-shirts. Versus something like this that has a lot of things going for it. You know, the peplum, the sheer, the embroidery, the boho style, the bell sleeves, the you know, this is like a perfect example of like an unbranded piece that I would jump on. So that's the way I want you to think about this as you are sourcing. You know, the last thing you want, like I don't care how nice that plain white t-shirt is, if the only thing I can put in to the description box is cotton, soft, short sleeve undershirt, it's not gonna move. It's not gonna move. Versus something like this that has a million different words that I can use to describe it, and that's how it'll get found. So I had this guy for 5 days. This was only listed for 5 days. Perfect example, again, unbranded. And I had it listed for $32, and I got a like on it, and my sidekick sent an offer for $28, which was accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $19.38. So this is a great sale, a gorgeous piece, absolute perfect example of how SEO works in Poshmark and how you should think about SEO as you're sourcing, because that's really like, Poshmark can be a little bit saturated. So how do you get yourself ahead of others in the search listings? You do that with keywords. Next up here is this adorable little open front cardigan from Madewell. I think this is called the Bradley cardigan, and I've personally had, I think, 2 of these. I've had 2 of them. It kind of has a little bit of a slub knit. It's super soft, it's open front, it's a perfect little cream color. But I did sit on this for a while. This sat all through the winter. And I'm finding this more and more with certain Madewell pieces. Like, one of the things that I will always look for from Madewell is those pop-over blouses. I think there's one called the Courier piece. I'll list the different styles down here, and these are things that like people search for by name. They're just, you know, they just wear really well, they wash really well, they're very classic style. But the cardigans have been slowing down big time. Like 2-3 years ago, Madewell cardigans would fly out of my closet. Like when I went to list the ones that I had, I want to say that I had them listed for like a day before they sold. And they've just slowed down. So it's something that I'm going to slow down on picking up. I leave quite a few behind. I will really only pick these up if they're in absolutely perfect condition and I'm getting them at the bins. It's not something I would pay like $5 or $6 for, or $7 for, or up. It's just too risky. I don't think you're gonna make your money back. I mean, again, if you're dealing in that like high volume, low price world, that might be a different story, but you know, the everyday seller on Poshmark, probably not gonna be the best bet for you. So I had this for 3 or 4 months, and I had it listed for $22. I really am sorry about the noise, guys. This is so loud. I had it listed for $22, and after 3 or 4 months, I got an offer for $15, and I was, you know, definitely ready to move this on out of my closet, so I did accept that. $1 cost of the bins has brought my profit to $11 even. So again, I think this is something to really slow down on picking up unless it really fits into your profit margin. Next up, now this was an interesting one. I've had this for a while. This is a cute little embroidered shirt from Live Los Angeles. This is an Anthropologie brand. It's got these cute little bell sleeves, this beautiful like white embroidery all the way over, split neck. Very boho. So I had this, and when I initially listed it, it got like no views, it got like no likes, and I just relisted it. So I use Vendoo for my cross listing, Vendoo. If you are looking for a service, I really like them. I think I might switch that over to Posh Sidekick eventually, but for now, it'll give me like a little notification when my listings have gone over 60 days old. And there's a number of reasons you want to wait until it's 60 days old. If you relist on Poshmark before the 60-day mark, your item won't be shown as like a new item or like newly listed. But if you are over 60 days, you will be shown in the just listed listings, which gets you increased visibility beyond your followers. When I did relist this one, and I just relisted it last week, it blew up. I got so much interest in it. All 4 of the platforms that I sell on, I got a ton of likes, a ton of views. So I don't know if this was something that maybe like showed up on a celebrity, like maybe they wore something like this, or maybe it was just timing. Maybe it was just, you know, people are looking for this butter yellow now, which, pro tip, they are looking for butter yellow, so use that as one of your keywords. But it sold within hours of me relisting it, which I always love to do. That's kind of my cadence. I like to list some every day and relist some every day. It keeps my closet fresh and it keeps everything, you know, moving through it, right? So it gives something like this that I've had for a couple months a chance to like be in the spotlight. I had this guy for 4 months, so that means I had relisted it twice. So this was the second time that I relisted it, and it just kind of went nuts. And I had it listed for $32 and got an offer for $26, which I did accept. And off it went. So $1 cost of the bins, and this was a Mercari sale, so my profit was $25. Love that, and again, just a perfect case for taking the time to do resale. Take the time to do it, guys. It's worth it. Next up, now this is a brand to be on the lookout for. I picked this up. I didn't know the brand, but I picked this up because it felt really nice. Like all the finishing was nice. The fabric is a nice, like heavyweight tencel, so it's got that gorgeous flow, and this ribbed collar detail is very high quality. But this is a brand called Maven Web, which I had never heard of. And when I got home and I looked it up, sure enough, this is a very expensive brand. I want to say that this retailed for close to $200. I don't want to link it to like boutique brands in the sense that it's like a boutique brand that sells wholesale. This is just like a high-end small brand that sells in high-end boutiques. There is a difference there. But the quality on this is gorgeous. So this guy I had for about 2 months. Again, it's kind of a more summery piece. So not super surprised at that. Definitely something that would go when the weather got a little bit nicer. And I had it listed for $35 and it popped through as a full price sale, which I'm super happy with. $1 cost of the bins, that brought my profit to $26.20. I don't want this whole video to be things to avoid shopping for. Next up, this is another Bolo brand. This is a little golf shirt from a brand called Jus. That's K-J-U-S. Now I know Jus because I worked at a ski shop like a million years ago, and we carried Jus ski jackets. And 20 years ago, these were over $1,000. I want to say that they were like $1,200 to $1,500. And the thing is, like, if somebody came in that had the pockets to do it, it was like the easiest sale to make, because despite the fact that they were super technical and they were definitely warm enough, they felt like you were wearing a sweatshirt. The fit on Jus stuff is unbelievable. The technology is unbelievable. In fact, one of the selling points that the rep gave us when we were talking about the Jus jackets is that the one jacket that we carried had more parts to it, more components than a Toyota Camry. So expensive, yes, but beautifully made, beautifully engineered, beautifully tailored, also yes. So this is one of the like smallest pieces I've ever seen from Jus. They do golf, they also do ski. So I had this listed for $34 and I had it for about 2 months. This is a summer golf shirt, so I'm not super surprised that it took a minute to sell, but $34, got an offer for $26, which I did accept. With the $1 cost from the bins, this brought my profit to $19.80. I will say that if you are able to find one of the ski jackets, you can probably, as long as it's one of the newer styles, and like, it's not a very trend-driven company, so it's more like a technically driven company. So as long as it doesn't look visibly old, you're looking at $100 and over minimum. If it's one of the newer jackets, I'm talking $300–400. So definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Especially those of you that are in like Utah and Colorado and near like Big Sky and Sun Valley and all those kind of more expensive ski areas. Be on the lookout. Always go through those winter sports sections in your thrift stores, because that kind of stuff, and like do your research, like know what's gonna move, know what's not gonna move, right? Like it's worth it. Next up is a 2-piece bundle. And the first piece here that I have is this cute, like very slinky skirt from Alberto Macalai. I believe this is a very high-end designer from Italy. Vintage. I want to say that this is from the 90s. And it's this just cute little like knee length, midi length, accordion looking skirt. This is one of those things that I've had a lot of interest in. So it was that piece, and then this cute little linen crop top from Laundry by Shelley Segal. Segal? I don't know if I'm saying that right. I love this color. It's like a very light blue-green kind of sea foamy color. It's a linen blend, and Laundry is a very expensive brand. They're sold at Saks. I think they're sold at Nordstrom. They make beautiful dresses. They're known for using great, you know, textiles. So this was a great little find. Size small. These are both pieces that I've had. I want to say I've had the skirt for like 3 or 4 months. Again, skirts do not sell well for me in the winter, so not surprising. And then the little linen top I think I've only had for about a month. Any kind of like boxy linen crop top, I don't care what the brand is, as long as the textile feels nice enough, I'm gonna pick up, because they are selling very, very well. That's something I would use, you know, of course, all the classic linen, cropped, boxy keywords with, but I would also use like eclectic grandpa. That would fall into that kind of core style that's happening right now. My bundle price on this, after my already set in discount, was $58, and I got an offer for $45, which I did accept. I'm coming off of a couple really slow weeks, and I have a feeling that most of us have gone through some pretty slow weeks. It was tax week. So my bundle price on these two was $58, and I got an offer for $45, which I did accept. With a total $2 cost of the bins, this brought my profit on both of these to $34. Two great little pieces. Next up is this cute little Intimately Free People bralette. This is called the Galloon bralette, and I've had this in literally every color it comes in. I found a huge bundle of them, and I found that twice. So I don't know if people were just like buying this in every color. This feels like brand new. This does not feel like it's ever really been worn. Size medium. And the thing is, I've had all of these in so many different colors, and they sell so quickly for me until I got the cream one. The cream one, I've had this for 6 months. Everything else, I found this with a pile of them in one day, and I listed them all on the same day, and within a week every single one but this one was gone, and then it sat for 6 more months. So when you are outsourcing, again, these kind of bralettes aren't something that I would tell you to source if you're paying up a little bit. Like, I will only get these at $1, because I'm gonna get between like 15 and 20 bucks for these. And if you are sourcing in that $2, $3, $4 range, I would stay away from any. And I think it's because it feels like actual underwear, you know, and a lot of people buy these kind of bralettes from Free People to kind of peek out of their outfits a little bit. They want it to be like something that gives them a little bit of support, but also is like part of the outfit. Anyway, I had this listed for $20 for 6 months, and I got an offer for $15, which I gladly accepted. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $11 even. Happy to move this on, and happy to learn a little bit of a lesson about those Free People bralettes, because I love them. They do move fast for me, but with the exception of that cream white color. Next up, now this is something that is very specific and something that I care quite a bit about, because this is something that I need. This is a Brooks Run Bra. And Brooks, this is just a note to all of you ladies out there who need a good high impact sports bra. There used to be a company called Moving Comfort, and Moving Comfort was like the end all be all of high impact sports bras. Like, they were comfortable. They gave you all the support you needed. They didn't, you know, put you into your chin. If you know, you know. They went away. Like, all of a sudden I couldn't find more Moving Comfort bras. And as it turns out, they were bought by Brooks. So Brooks Run Bras are the ones. They are the best sports bras. And not everybody knows about them, but if you know, you know, and now you know. So if this is something that you need in your life, guys, I try to find them on the secondhand market because they're out there, obviously. But if you can't find them on the secondhand market and you need them, like, spend the money. Take care of them. They will last you an eternity. They're made extremely well. But this is something that I wholeheartedly support buying new. Like, this is I'll never forget the first time I like worked out with one of these on and my world was changed. My world was changed. So I will grab these anytime I see them just because I know what they are. I don't care how long they take to sell. I know that they're always going to take a long time to sell. As a service to the other ladies out there like me, I will always pick these up. And I have this listed for $30. I want to say that they retail for like somewhere between 60 and 80. I can't really remember. I've literally, like the ones that I've had for almost 10 years and they still feel brand new. So that is a testament to how well these things are made. $30, I got an offer for $22, which I gladly accepted. I had it for 8 months. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to $17.60. Obviously, this is not something for everybody, but for me and for other girls in the know, this is, again, a service to our sisters. Now this is an interesting one because this is something that I will pick up every time, and I think this took so long to sell because of the color. This is from a brand called Centolimo, and I want to say that this is a play. There is a very expensive linen brand called, I'll have to put it down on the screen. I can't remember it, but it's Centolimo is very close to the name, so I'm thinking that this was maybe a knockoff of it. But this is 100% linen, Italian linen, this beautiful, like, electric blue. It's a size extra large, just a beautiful piece. And I've had this for a long time. I mean, I'm never gonna stop getting linen, ever. But this one took a while to sell. I'm glad I'm moving it on. So I had this for 8 or 9 months, which is a long time for linen for me. So either way, I've had this listed for 8 or 9 months, and I had it listed for $32 and got an offer for $24, which I did accept. This one had a $5.70 cost for me at the local thrift store, which brought my profit to $13.50. Next up, now this was an interesting find. I found these in the bins and they just felt really nice. I wasn't familiar with the brand. And when I got home, I know a lot of people that work in the action sports world, so I sent it to them. I'm like, these looked too high tech. They looked too nice to not be something. So I sent it to some friends of mine and they immediately responded back and they're like, oh, that's a triathlon brand. Great, love hearing that. Triathlons are an extremely expensive hobby. If you do not live in an area where triathlons have taken hold, let me explain to you the fact that there are people that are, you know, this, and they go out and they buy a $10,000 triathlon bike, not an exaggeration, that is middle of the road for some of these bikes. $10,000 triathlon bike, and then all of the gear that goes with it. So this is 2XU, this is a brand now, a lot of people do wetsuits, and you'll see wetsuits by the brand like Zoot. And triathlon wetsuits are gonna feel a little bit different than a traditional surf wetsuit in that they're gonna be a little bit lighter weight, and I believe some of them have chamois in them, like bike seat pads. So just something to keep your eyes out for because they're very expensive. They're like $200-300, and something like this brand is 2XU, which I was told is like literally 2 times you, like performance wise, 2 times your best performance. Anyway, the things you learn. So definitely something to keep your eyes out for, especially if triathlons have taken hold in your area. Like again, I'm from the Philly area and it is everywhere there. Everywhere. I know so many people who do them, and it is like, I thought that skiing and snowboarding was an expensive hobby. Not even close. Not even close to what triathlons cost you. So $32 I had these listed for. I got an offer for $25 after 3 months. Not surprised, these are shorts. And with the $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $14.58. So glad to get these on the move, and definitely just something great to talk about on here because it's not something that necessarily everybody would have their eyes out for. Next up here is this cute little cinched waist Zara dress. I just love this dress. Super simple little shirt dress, and it's got these cinches on the side that just kind of pulls in the waist. And this was one of these things that I found. I want to say I got it in like January. Like I got it dead of winter, but I was going to pick this up anyway. It's a newer tag Zara, great little black shirt dress. Like this is an automatic sell, right? So I had this listed for 3 months and I actually sold this and it came back for a fit reason. I'd gone back and forth with the person and it was fine. And it came back just fine, gave it a wash, gave it another seam, and got it relisted. And so all of this happened in 3 months. So 3 months from when I initially listed it. I want to say that this went like a week after I relisted it. And it didn't take too long to sell in the first place. So I had this listed for $32. And me and this buyer went back and forth a few times on price, but ultimately settled on $19. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to $14.20. I hope she loves it because this is really a cute dress. And I hated that it came back. Next up, this is the last of my fresh produce picks. It's this kind of like gray lavender color. Depending on the light that you're in, it kind of looks a different color, but Fresh Produce is a company, I believe that they're local, and I found a little cache of these once, and I just kind of picked up a bunch of pieces because the quality is so nice. And they do have a standalone little boutique in Laguna Beach, and Laguna Beach is like very, very high-end, expensive town. So like if you are doing well enough to have a standalone boutique in a place like Laguna Beach, it's probably something that's pretty well sought after, right? So I grabbed a bunch of pieces and most of the pieces sold really quickly. There were 1 or 2 pieces that had like a little like speck of a bleach stain, which I gave to my mom because it's exactly the kind of shirt that she likes to wear, when she's bopping around the house doing work. So the funny thing is I found a bunch of pieces. I'd seen a couple pieces the week before I picked up that little cache of them, and I have not seen any since. So I don't know if it was just somebody's closet that was clearing out or what the case was, but I just love this little brand. It's, again, not something that you're gonna get a huge dollar amount for, but if you're able to source for a low amount, or if you're looking for yourself to get a couple, really casual pieces in super high quality cotton, this is a great brand. So I had this listed for 4 or 5 months. Again, this is the last of all of those pieces. And I had it listed for $25, got an offer for $18, which I did accept. This was a Mercari sale. So with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $17 even. Love that brand, and I hope to find some more, especially now in the summer, because this is when these things will go. Next up, we're getting there, guys. This is a gorgeous little Lily Pulitzer dress that I found at the dead end of summer last year. So I knew I would sit on it, but Lily, is just a consistent seller for me. This is, I think, called the Janice dress. It's got this pretty, like, navy blue ribbed, like an ottoman fabric with this pretty pink piping on it. Again, I've had this for 6 months, but I knew it would go. I've gone back and forth with the buyer a bunch of times, and I think this is gonna be worn to her grandson's graduation, which makes me so happy that this is going for a special occasion. Guys, how is Lily doing for you? How is Lily Pulitzer doing for you if you find any? I feel like this is right now one of those like polarizing brands. Some people are saying that like Lily Pulitzer sits in their closet, and I just like refuse to believe that. I like refuse to believe it, because as long as you can keyword this right and you know how to find like all the details about it and you know how to keyword it, there's no reason that this should sit. For me, this is just like a great seller. I'm always excited to find it because it does go for a great price. So I had this listed for about 6 months. Again, I found this dead at the end of summer. And I had it listed for $55. I want to say this retailed for like $250 or close to $300. Lily Pulitzer is unbelievably expensive. And I got an offer for $45, and with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $32.87, which I am super happy about. I hope she loves this. She was so sweet. She was very excited to get this, so I'm happy to get that out the door, and hopefully it gets to her in time for that graduation. Finally, oh, this piece. Now, I just got this, and I knew it would go quick. This is a vintage terry cloth robe or house coat, and man, did I go down the wormhole as I was listing this into like, what's the difference between a house coat and a duster and a robe? And the general consensus is that a duster is something that would be worn during the day over your clothes to protect your clothes from a duster though. I'm talking in like vintage kind of houseware stuff. And then a robe is generally considered something that is used in and around the time of sleep or bathing. And then a house coat is somewhere in between. So this, I believe, is like a house coat. And it's this beautiful, like bright floral 1960s fantasy. Like, it's so good. And this, I believe, is going to Sweden. It's going international. And that always like is so exciting to me when especially something like this, because this is so like quintessential American housewife. You know, when you think about an American housewife back in the 60s, this is like, I can't really picture this happening in Scandinavia. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like part of a costume shop, which always just makes me so happy. I love thinking about where these little vintage treasures are going on to in their life. But I had this guy listed for $35, and within hours of listing it, got an offer for $31, which I did accept. Super happy about that, and with a $1 cost of the bins, has brought my profit to $26 even. It's so cool, such a cool piece, and I love when vintage pieces move fast. Like, they rarely move fast, like this fast for me. Like, very, very rarely, unless it's something that's like highly in demand and priced right. Something like this, I always expect to sit for 3 or 4 months just because it is, a pretty specialized purchase. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. Again, I apologize for all of the sound around us. Everybody was mowing their lawns right now, and it's just like right on top of me. So thank you for bearing with the noise. But guys, if you had fun, please consider hitting like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload something new. Don't forget to follow me on my socials. I'll have those handles right here. I'll also have them linked below. But guys, without further ado, have the most amazing weekend. Happy hunting. I hope you find some great pieces. Let me know if you do in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.